That's right, I brought Bastiodon to the 2025 San Antonio Regional Championships, boasting over 600 competitors. This Pokemon has never seen any competitive success in the 2 decades since its introduction, and it's regarded as a garbage tier mon. So why did I bring it? Have I lost my mind? Well, yes, but not because of Bastiodon. I brought it because I think the Big Bast is strong, and the competitive community is underestimating it. So join me and learn how I exceeded everyone's expectations with Pokemon's forgotten fossil, Bastiodon. To understand why I brought Bastiodon, we first need to go back to... Whoops, went a little too far back there. That should be better. We need to go back to December 2024, a month before the start of Regulation G. Team building in this format is quite challenging, as you are allowed to use a powerful class of Pokemon known as restricted. But you can only use one per team, so choosing which one you use has a drastic impact on the game. So which of these powerful Pokemon do I build around? Well, there are 30 restricted, but only 10 of them are strong enough for me to consider. My goal over the next month was to put these restricteds to the test to decide which one I'd bring with me to San Antonio. And one by one, I found reasons why I hated each and every one of them. At first glance, Calyrex, Shadow Rider, and Miraidon seemed to be the most powerful to me. But I was worried about losing mirror matches to 50-50 speed ties and predictions. I then pondered upon Calyrex Ice Rider, which also seemed strong, but it requires using Trick Room, an archetype which I don't have that much experience with. Then there's Terrapagos, which is a great counter to many of the most powerful restricteds, but it requires using Terra in most matches, and that limits flexibility. Kyogre and Groudon are strong with their weather-setting abilities, but I've lost too many games to missing Origin Pulse and Precipice Blade for me to consider them. Well, what about Zamazenta then? It's the restricted I have the most experience with, but it can't Oko things and it's stuck using single target moves. Zacian is mid as hell, I wouldn't be caught dead running Lunala, I hate Koraidon, I hate everything! I hate Reggie! I hate Pokemon! Why can't I find a good team? Why am I even bothering to play this game at all? I decided I needed to cool down, go outside, take a walk, but I still couldn't figure out what team I needed to run. I reached out towards the sky, hoping to find an answer. And finally, I found it.
Big Bast busting out these body presses, bout to buy a body bag and beat them back and make them pack it up. Big Bast busting out these body presses, bout to buy a body bag and beat them back and make them pack it up. Defense up, defense up, defense up, then you struck.
I was at a Chinese restaurant with some of my Pokemon buddies, and my good friend Brendan was talking about his Regulation G team that included Bastiodon. He's known for cooking very flavorful teams using unexpected Pokemon, and at first I just wrote it off as another one of those teams. But as my desperation grew, I decided to give Bastiodon a try. And to my surprise, Bastiodon was good. No, good isn't an adequate enough word. It was great, amazing, wonderful, splendid.
I'll put the thesaurus away.
It was by far my favorite team that I'd run this format, and Bastiodon was a big part of that. So why Bastiodon? It is the only Pokemon in the format that gets both Wide Guard and Foul Play, making it the ultimate counter to both forms of Calyrex. And unlike other Wide Guard users, Bastiodon has the bulk to stick around. Throw on Iron Defense and Body Press, and it eats Terrapagos for breakfast as well. Common non-restricted Pokemon like Rillaboom and Incineroar struggle to remove it, especially since it's holding the leftovers item. And with Terra Grass, it flips its bad magic into Urshifu and can ignore Rage Powder from Amoonguss. Ain't nothing gonna break his stride, nobody gonna slow him down. But which restricted pairs best with Bastiodon? Brendan's answer was Miraidon. The Iron Serpent deals with the water types that threaten Bastiodon, and in turn, Bastiodon can eat the Fairy, Ice, and Dragon attacks that Miraidon hates, making these two Dons a dynamic duo. Earlier I mentioned I didn't like running Miraidon thanks to speed ties in the mirror, which is why I like that this Miraidon is trained with a timid nature that outspeeds the most common Miraidon spreads in the meta. Most Miraidon teams like running a Tailwind setter to have the fast offensive mode, But Brendan decided to go a different route, opting for bulky Scream's Grimmsnarl, complementing the two Don's already good bulk, while also being able to provide speed control and frustrate opponents with Prankster Thunderwave. Since this is a Miraidon team, an obvious choice is Iron Hands, as it can deal massive damage thanks to the electric terrain. Like Miraidon, this Iron Hands was also trained to be faster than the meta standard spread, to help win in the mirror, and also to outspeed Kyogre after the fish is hit by Grimmsnarl's Thunderwave. Ogrefon Hearthflame was added to the team to help remove Rillaboom and Amoonguss, allowing Miraidon to have more room to maneuver, not having to worry about the grass types that resist its powerful Electro Drift. It's also equipped with Follow Me to help protect Iron Hands and Miraidon from strong attacks. That's 5 out of the 6 Pokemon on the team, but the last slot was the trickiest to figure out. At first, it was an Urshifu Single Strike, but that quickly turned into a booster speed Flutter Mane for extra speed control. And its ghost typing helps as it's immune to Fake Out, which the team can otherwise struggle with. This was the version of the team I tried out first, but before I was ready to commit to bring this team to San Antonio, I decided I wanted to take it for a test run by bringing it to a local tournament. But I wasn't the only one. There were 4 of us at that tournament who brought this team, and it was a phenomenal first showing for the team, as 2 of us were able to make it into the top 4. And with that success, I was committed to Bastiodon and the team.
There were 6 of us planning to bring this team to San Antonio. We called ourselves the Bastiodon Mafia. Our first order of business was Flutter Mane. We all agreed it wasn't pulling its weight, and we had another problem: opposing Landorus Incarnate, which could hit our Miraidon, Iron Hands, and Bastiodon for super effective damage thanks to Earth Power, while also hitting Ogerpon and Grimmsnarl with Sludge Bomb. While Flutter Mane was a decent answer into it, we needed something better. So we hopped on a call and hashed out a few ideas. After a good bit of discussion, we were thinking about using Nevermelt Ice Cresselia with Ice Beam to Oko Landorus, while being immune to its ground attacks thanks to Levitate. Not our proudest moment in hindsight, but you gotta overcome a lot of obstacles to achieve greatness. Luckily, Josh hopped on the call, told us we were out of our damn minds. After using a little more of our brain power, we decided on Choice Scarf Urshifu Rapid Strike. With a jolly nature, it was able to outspeed and Oko Modest Scarf to Lando. We also decided to equip it with the move Coaching to help support our Iron Hands and Ogerpon, especially in the Koraidon matchup. Please come in, Flutter Mane. Take a seat.
Hello there.
I've been reviewing your performance and I'm sorry to say it, but we've decided it's best to let you go.
What did you say?
It's nothing personal. We just feel like you no longer meet the needs of this team.
This is outrageous. It's unfair.
I know you're upset, but it needs to be done. I'm sorry.
I hate you!
Please, don't make me do this.
If you're not with me, then you're my enemy.
Alright, you asked for it. With this change, we were feeling pretty confident, so Brendan and I decided we should drive down to San Diego and test it out at a cup. But things didn't go quite as planned, as we both ran into Terra Ground Terrablast Calyrex Shadow Rider, which just destroyed our team. So it's not something we'd ever expect to face at San Antonio, so we just both chalked this up as a fluke. And still, we weren't leaving in the best of spirits. And things continued to get worse, as across the ocean, a new team was finding success: Chinese Sun. It just got in top 8 at the Birmingham Regional Championships, and it utilizes an Assault Vest Groudon next to Gouging Fire. Thanks to AV, Groudon could take a Draco Meteor from Miraidon and devastate our team with its powerful fire and ground attacks. We quickly realized there's no easy fix for this matchup. If we wanted to go far at San Antonio, we needed to dodge it. And the punches just kept coming, as also bad for our team was the second place Kyogre team. Using Rillaboom, Incineroar, and Amoonguss, it was able to outposition and beat our team. With only 1 week left before San Antonio, I began to panic. I began to notice more and more flaws with the team, and I kept losing matchups I should have been winning, like Calyrex Shadow Rider and Miraidon. Is it over? Should I drop the team? It was 2 days before the regional, and my flight left the next day, but I decided enough was enough. Something needs to change. To start, I gave Bastiodon a cool looking cloak. Some might even call it a covert cloak. Though this decision caused a division in the Mafia, I argue that Fake Out immunity was too crucial to pass up on, as it allowed Bastiodon to sit in front of Rillaboom and Incineroar without the fear of Fake Out. Though others argued that the survivability of leftovers allowed Bastiodon to win endgame scenarios against low health Pokemon. In the end, we were divided, and half the Mafia ended up running Cloak, while the other half stuck with leftovers. Next, I turned my attention to Urshifu. Goodbye, Urshifu. I've always been more of a Chien-Pao gal anyway. Like Urshifu, Pao beats Landorus, but it does so much more. Since it has Protect, it's able to help out with the Fake Out onslaught that was giving us so much trouble before. It gives us yet another edge in the Miraidon mirror, it beats Rillaboom and Amoonguss, and critically, it solves the Kyogre matchup, as it can't safely Terra Grass anymore without fear of getting hit with an Icicle Crash. With this change, the team was finalized. Miraidon, the Restricted, dealing massive damage with its powerful terrain-boosted attacks. Grimmsnarl, the Trickster, providing damage reduction and speed control, allowing us to slow the pace of the game. Iron Hands, the Juggernaut, now equipped with Heavy Slam to help deal more damage to Whimsicott and Landorus. It deals massive damage to opposing Restricted, while also providing Fake Out pressure. Ogerpon, the Queen, ready to smite grass types with her cudgel, and to protect her allies with Follow Me. Chien-Pao, the Newcomer, ready to prove its worth by threatening Landorus and opposing grass types. And last but certainly not least, Bastiodon, the heart of the team, protecting his allies from strong spread moves with Wide Guard, and body pressing anything and everything in its path. The Bastiodon Mafia was ready to take on San Antonio. The day of the tournament was finally here, and nerves were high. Today, Bastiodon would either rise to glory or be the laughingstock of the city. I'm going into this tournament with one goal: become the first trainer in the history of Pokemon to make it to the second day of competition with Bastiodon. To do this, I'll need to win 6 out of my 8 rounds. My hope is that I'll be able to dodge some of the tougher matchups like Groudon, and win all the other matchups thanks to my team and my skill. I sit across the table from my opponent, ready for round 1. Video game masters, this is your round 1. You may begin.
So in this section of the video, I go over each of the matches I faced on day 1. Some of it is in-game footage from hitting the record screen button on the Switch, while other is showdown recreation. So if you were wondering why it's swapping back and forth between the two, that's why. I don't remember everything perfectly, but I tried to recreate it the best I can. Hopefully it's all coherent enough. Enjoy!
I exchange team sheets with my opponent, and I see that they're running Miraidon as well. That's fine, I beat that, right? One slight problem. They also have a Chien-Pao. Though my Miraidon is faster than theirs, so with Terra Fairy I should still be able to win, right? Their Icicle Crash flinched? Okay. It's fine. Iron Hands should still be able to clean up from here. Another Icicle Crash flinch? My luck today is awful. It's fine, I got the bad luck out of the way, and I should be able to sweep games 2 and 3. Their Miraidon lives Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam? Ay caramba! And I miss my Icicle Crash? It's over. There's nothing I can do from this position. It's never a good feeling losing round 1, and things weren't looking better for the rest of the Bastiodon Mafia. But the day was still young, and there were still 7 more rounds to make up lost ground. I head to my round 2, and what do you know? It's another Miraidon mirror. But this team doesn't have a Chien-Pao, so I'm feeling a lot more confident going into this one. I play out the first game, and I'm in a position to win, when their Miraidon happens to outspeed mine. I wasn't expecting this and was caught off guard, and I lose the game. Even with this shakeup, I know I have the tools to win. I have my Chien-Pao, and my Iron Hands is still faster than theirs. So in games 2 and 3, I leverage that and am able to win. It's time for round 3, and to my horror, I'm playing against Groudon. The one restricted I hope to dodge. Their only ground move is Precipice Blade, so my plan is to leverage Wide Guard, but they have a secret weapon, Choice Band Entei. And thanks to the sun, it's able to make quick work of my team. Even Bastiodon was melted by a sun-boosted Sacred Fire, meaning I lose game 1. If I want to beat this team, I'll need to play the best Pokemon of my life. So that's what I'll do. Game 2, I lead Miraidon and Ogerpon against their Groudon and Whimsicott. I Terra Fairy Miraidon to survive Precipice Blades, but they instead go for Heat Crash onto my Ogerpon. But she survives with 5 HP. Seems like her bulky spread is paying off. This allows it to Ivy Cudgel Whimsicott, while Miraidon takes out Groudon with the Draco Meteor. But it's not over yet. as they send in the Entei that gave me so much trouble last game, as well as a Raging Bolt. Since I used my Terra, Miraidon would die to a Sacred Fire, and to make matters worse, they have a Tailwind up. I'm forced to sacrifice my beloved Bastiodon and Ogerpon in order to stall out Tailwind and get Miraidon into position. My efforts pay off as I win Game 2. In Game 3, we both have the same leads as last time, but this time I make a risky play and don't Terra Fairy my Miraidon in front of a potential Precipice Blades. They go for a safe play and protect Groudon from Draco Meteor, and set Tailwind while I take out Whimsicott with Ivy Cudgel. Now I'm in a really bad position, as they have Tailwind up, with Groudon and Entei on the field. I switch Miraidon into Chien-Pao as I protect my Ogerpon to stall out Tailwind. But with Groudon still alive, things are looking dire. I only have one out, a double spiky shield on Ogerpon. I click the button and it works! I get the double spiky shield. A few turns later and I've successfully stalled out Tailwind, and it's down to my Grimmsnarl Miraidon against Raging Bolt and Entei with Terrifier Groudon in the back. I can't take both Raging Bolt and Entei out in a single turn, so I have to make a call. Do I Terra Miraidon or not? If I Terra Miraidon and they go for an electric move, next turn they'll be able to take it out with a Thunderclap. On the other hand, if I don't Terra Miraidon and they go for Draco Meteor, I'll lose the game on the spot. I decide not to Terra and they click Thunderbolt, allowing me to close out the set. Whew, it's a close one. Hopefully my next matches are a little bit easier. Round 4 is up, and I'm facing my first Kyogre team of the tournament. It's a fairly standard team with Tornadus and Serena. Game 1, I feel like I start off pretty well, as I'm able to take out a double KO on their Tornadus and Kyogre. But I can't break the Chien-Pao and Serena in the back, and I lose. Not an ideal start, but I can bring it back. Game 2 starts, and this time they bring Rillaboom and Terra Ground High Horsepower, and it kills Miraidon. What? I know I had the team sheet in front of me, but still, my brain wasn't expecting it. Losing my restricted turn 1 is a death sentence, and I lose the set. That's my second loss of the day. One more loss, it's over. No day 2 for me. The panic starts to set in, and I can't calm myself down. So, the Bastiodon Mafia decided it would be a good idea to go outside, get some fresh air, and check out the beautiful San Antonio River. Look at how relaxed I am. That was a nice break, but now it's time for round 5. And I'm up against another Kyogre team. This time it's holding a Choice Star. And, what? Oh my god, is that another Terra Ground High Horsepower Rillaboom? Again? In my hundreds of practice games with this team before San Antonio, I didn't even run into a single one, and now I ran into 2? I can't deal with this anymore. I try my best to win game 1. But the Terra Ground Rillaboom is able to one-shot my Iron Hands, and to make matters worse, my Chien-Pao misses its second Icicle Crash of the day at a critical moment where it needed to kill Rillaboom. And then later my Miraidon gets a speed drop from Bleakwind Storm. With that string of events, I lose game 1. No, this can't be how it ends. I can't lose here, I need to win, but how? My thoughts are getting fuzzy and I can't think clearly. The timer is ticking down, and I realize what I'm missing. What I need someone who I've been neglecting all day. I need a hero. Bastiodon goes down, but it's done its job. It's taken enough hits, prevented Kyogre's strong spread moves, and dealt enough damage to allow my remaining Pokemon to clean up in the endgame. It all comes down to game 3. I lead the Double Dons. They go for a bold move and use Feint and Water Spout, but they don't deal nearly enough damage, and Miraidon takes out Kyogre. This forces them to bring out Rillaboom, and they take out Bastiodon, but I switch Miraidon for the Iron Hands and then send in Chien-Pao. I predict them to swap out Rillaboom, so I double into Electabuzz, knocking it out with a crit Drain Punch and forcing them to bring the monkey back to the battle. From there, it's over. They probably can't deal with my Miraidon and Iron Hands, since I still have my Terra. And a high horsepower miss on Qian Pao seals their fate, and I'm able to win the set. I'm still in the tournament. Hi, is this the optometrist? Hello, yes, I am the optometrist. I was hoping you could take a look at my cat. It's missing all of its moves today. Its eyes need to be checked. Let me take a look. Ah, I see now. It seems like it's a skill issue. It's round 6, and I've been thrown a boon. I'm up against Calyrex Shadow, a Pokemon our Bastiodon was designed to beat. But that doesn't mean this round's going to be easy. I lead Miraidon Ogerpon, and they lead Urshifu and Incineroar.
Turn 1, they close combat Miraidon, and then...
They switch Urshifu into Rillaboom, while I knock out Incineroar with a double-up of Electro Drift and Wood Hammer. This lets them switch in Calyrex and Astral Barrage, while I switch Miraidon to Qian Pao. And their Rillaboom uses U-turn into Qian Pao, knocking it out. You know what time it is. Bastiodon time! I Terra Grass to protect myself against Urshifu, and attempt to foul play Calyrex, but it protects itself, while Urshifu takes out Ogerpon, though it's down to Focus Sash thanks to Ogerpon's Wood Hammer. I send into Miraidon, but it dies to Psychic, while Bastiodon finishes off CSR. Though, it's too late. Bastiodon took too much damage and loses to Urshifu and Rillaboom. I decide I need to switch it up game 2, and bring Grimmsnarl instead of Ogerpon, since I think Screams will help Bastiodon stick around long. I use Grimmsnarl's Spirit Break to chip the sash of Urshifu, while Incineroar fakes out Miraidon. I set Light Scream up with Grimmsnarl, and use Volt Switch into the Rillaboom that just swapped in, bringing out my Bastiodon. I don't remember the exact details of what happens next, but Grimmsnarl gets knocked out, Bastiodon Terras and sets up an Iron Defense, and Urshifu Close Combat knocks out Miraidon. But Urshifu quickly dies to boosted Body Press. I'm down to just Qian Pao and Bastiodon, but I'm not worried, because Bastiodon's the GOAT. My opponent goes for Nasty Plot, predicting Sucker Punch, but Qian Pao is bold and throat chops into the Calyrex, as Incineroar Will-O-Wisps Bastiodon, but it's too late. Incineroar and Rillaboom can't break the Terra Grass Bastiodon, meaning I win game 2. Once again, I find myself with one game to decide my fate. In the beginning of game 3, I'm able to set up screens with Grimmsnarl, take out Urshifu, and set up Iron Defense on my Bastiodon. Rillaboom and Incineroar on the field against my Qian Pao and the Big Bast. The Dawn gets burned, but thanks to Sword of Ruin, it's still able to take out Incineroar. Calyrex comes in and terras itself to protect itself from Qian Pao, but I use Icicle Crash into the Rillaboom, though it barely misses the KO, allowing Rillaboom to hit Bastiodon with U-turn. But Bastiodon, the tank that it is, survives on 4 HP, allowing it to body press Calyrex for biggie damage. They protect Calyrex and knock out Pao with a Grassy Glide, but I go for body press into Rillaboom. And with Miraidon still alive and healthy in the back, I win the game in another extremely close set. Only 2 more wins and I qualify for day 2. After that match, I meet up with the rest of the Bastiodon Mafia and learn some unfortunate news. Out of the 6 of us who brought this team, only 3 of us are still in day 2 contention. And one duo ended their runs more than any other. Calyrex Ice Rider plus Landorus Incarnate. So, imagine my dread when I start round 7 and see that my opponent has that exact same combo. I have to win this to get vengeance for my fallen comrades. Begin game 1 by doing a little dance, trying to get our Pokemon into an advantageous position. On this turn here, I swapped out Bastiodon, predicting their Landorus to switch in, and brought out Qian Pao, while Miraidon took care of their Incineroar. I Terra Fairied Miraidon to survive the Sandsear Storm, and took a double knockout with Icicle Crash and Electro Drift. And I won from there, since Dark Urshifu couldn't beat my remaining Pokemon. Game 2, I led Grimmsnarl and Miraidon versus their Incineroar and Calyrex. I swap Iron Hands into the Fake Out and set up Reflect with Grim, while they go for Trick Room. They swap Calyrex into Landorus as I Terra Water my Iron Hands and low kick the Incineroar. But it hangs on, and Parting Shots back into Calyrex. My goal for the next few turns is simple. Survive. I use Spirit Break onto Landorus to lower its damage output, while Iron Hands keeps using low kick. But Incineroar swaps back in on the next turn, getting off another crucial Intimidate, meaning my attacks are doing no damage, while their Calyrex is able to deal chip damage with Glacial Lance. It gets to the last turn Trick Room, and Calyrex is about to take out my Grimmsnarl. So as a final gift, I paralyze the Calyrex, and I get lucky, as it prevents the Calyrex from moving that turn. But I soon realized that what I thought was a gift was actually a curse, and that Thunder Wave was a big mistake. If Calyrex had killed my Grimmsnarl, I would have been able to safely send in Miraidon and stop Trick Room from going up again. But since Grimmsnarl lived, I'm stuck on the field with 2 Pokemon with very low damage output, and Calyrex is free to set up Trick Room again and sweep. I know there's only one out from here. I need another full paralysis. Landorus takes out my Grimmsnarl and I get the full paralysis. Thank goodness. Now I'm able to send in Miraidon and prevent them from getting Trick Room up, winning me the game and the set. And then there was one more game. One final glorious trial to determine whether Bastiodon had what it takes to make day 2. Our little Mafia started out 6 strong, but now we are down to just 2. Myself and the team's original creator, Brendan. It was up to us to bring the team justice. Little did I know that this final round would be the toughest one yet. The pairings are up. I check to see who I'm going against, and I see a familiar name. Someone I faced 1 year ago at the last San Antonio Regionals, where I defeated him. Now, he's the only thing standing in my way of bringing Bastiodon to day 2, and he's not looking for a repeat of last year. He's running another Calyrex Ice team, but this one has Gastrodon on it, which can hit Bastiodon for super effective damage in and out of Terra, thanks to having the combo of Earth Power and Ice Beam. I take a deep breath, and we begin Game 1. My plan is simple. Lead Iron Hands and Bastiodon so I can fake out Calyrex and set up an Iron defense. He leads Rillaboom and Calyrex. Uh-oh, his Rillaboom is faster and can fake out Iron Hands before it can fake out Calyrex. I Terra my Bastiodon as he launches a high horsepower, not expecting me to Terra in front of a potential Glacial Lance. On turn 2, he uses Wood Hammer into Iron Hands, but it hangs on by a thread, and I hit Calyrex with a low kick and body press, bringing it down to low HP, as it finishes off Iron Hands with Glacial Lance. Now, Miraidon hits the field. Calyrex uses Protect, and Bastiodon uses Wide Guard. Rillaboom swatches into Incineroar, which barely lives a Draco Meteor. Then, we both swap out our Restricteds, and he fakes out my Bastiodon? This is a lesson. Always remember to read your team sheets. This arrow lets me knock out Rillaboom with a big back body press. Calyrex comes back in, and it protects to get Grassy Terrain recovery, as Bastiodon takes out Incineroar. He's down to just Gastrodon and Calyrex. I launch a Throat Chop into Calyrex, but it barely lives and gets out another Glacial Lance, though Bastiodon is able to survive that, and Body Press takes care of Calyrex. With only the Slug left, he's unable to win Game 1. It's Game 2 and I'm starting to feel the pressure. My hands are shaking. I can barely think. I'm worried about another Rillaboom lead, so this time I go for Chien-Pao and Iron Hands. He swaps out his Rillaboom into Incineroar for the Intimidate as I fake out the Calyrex. And then I crack. I don't remember much about Game 2, but I do remember that I made very predictable plays that he was able to punish very easily. My mental state was at an all-time low, and doubt began to creep into my mind. While this was happening, Brendan lost his win in the match, leaving me as the only one left to carry the Bastiodon torch. The hard work we put in, this journey that we, the Bastiodon Mafia, went on, was it all going to be for nothing? No, this team is great. I am great. And I will make day 2 with Bastiodon. I lead Miraidon and Iron Hands, as he leads Rillaboom and Calyrex. He fakes out my Iron Hands, but that allows Miraidon to full switch off the field, bringing in Chien-Pao. The Calyrex attacks with Glacial Lance, dealing a good chunk of damage to both my Pokemon. Incineroar swaps in for Rillaboom, as he swapped Iron Hands into Bastiodon. Glacial Lance finishes off Chien-Pao, giving Calyrex the dreaded chilling Neigh boost. I send back an Iron Hands, threatening another Fake Out, but I predict Calyrex will protect, so I launch a Drain Punch into Incineroar to heal back some of Iron Hands' health. But I was wrong. He didn't protect Calyrex. This could be bad. This could be run-ending. That's what I would be saying if I hadn't been playing him all along. You see, the previous 2 games, I always terrored my Bastiodon the first chance I got, so he assumed I'd do the same here as well. He was wrong. He doubled Bastiodon with Flare Blitz and Glacial Lance, which did squat into the Rock and Steel Bastiodon, allowing me to take out the Incineroar and set up a free Iron defense. Paradox. Rillaboom returns to the field once again, but thanks to Covert Cloak, Bastiodon is able to wide guard without fear of fake out, allowing Miraidon to safely switch in to a Glacial Lance. And with that final wide guard, Bastiodon goes down to Woodhammer as Miraidon takes out Calyrex. Thank you for your service, Bastiodon. You will be remembered in the halls of history. But the game's not over yet, as Miraidon and Iron Hands face down Rillaboom and Gastrodon. If I miss a Draco Meteor, it could be over. I could still lose. I hold my breath, and the Draco Meteor connects, taking out Rillaboom and allowing Terra Water Iron Hands to survive Gastrodon's Earth Power. And with just Gastrodon left, the two future Paradoxes are able to win me the game. I did it! I made day 2! I made day 2 with Bastiodon! Over the last few weeks, people have told me I was crazy for running it. And I just proved them wrong. This was not just a victory for me, but the entire Bastiodon Mafia. Benji, Oscar, Michael, Josh, Ty, and Brendan. Without them, I would have never been able to pull this off. I couldn't have asked for a better group of people to build with. Before I wrap up the video, I want to talk about a few things. First, of course, is day 2 itself. I matched into 2 separate Sun teams, which were kind of both auto losses for the team, and then the third match was a standard Miraidon team that I was able to beat with Qianpao. I ended the tournament with a total record of 7 wins and 4 losses, placing 76 out of 601 people. But the team was able to find some day 2 success in the Side Event Cup, as Ty was able to take Bastiodon all the way to 4th place in a tournament with over 100 people. A really impressive finish, and I am very proud of them for pulling it off. So, where to next? What's the future of Bastiodon? Do I bring it to EUIC? Well, I'm not so sure about that. As I mentioned earlier, one of the toughest matchups for this team is Calyrex Icelandris, and since that just won San Antonio, it's looking like I might need to find a different team. But I'm still very happy with how this team did, and it is one of my favorite teams that I've ever run. But the Bastiodon Mafia has been cooking up a few new ideas for future tournaments. So maybe, just maybe, you haven't seen the last of Bastiodon.
If you've made it this far in the video, thank you very much for watching. I've put a lot of time in this project over the last month and a half. I think I've put well over 100 hours into this. So if you wouldn't mind subscribing, liking, commenting, you know, all that generic YouTuber stuff that, you know. But yeah, I've got a lot more content planned, so stay tuned for that. And I did also want to give a quick update, is that during the making of this video, a second person has actually made day 2 with Bastiodon. Alan Zinho made day 2 at the Fortaleza Regional, so congrats to them. Huge shout outs to Ty and Brendan. Just thank you so much for letting me work with you two on this team. It was just so much fun, and all the rest of the Bastiodon Mafia too, but those two were like the original ones, so just phenomenal people. I'm so glad to have had the opportunity to work with them. And also shout out to Josh for helping me write the script and helping me reviewing my editing. I'm bad at ending videos, so just have a good day, stay cool, have fun, trans rights.